Hi friends, thanks for joining me today. I thought we'd have a little bit of fun with some doodling on watercolor. And you know, this is really a good exercise for your brain type of thing. Very easy to do. It's a lot of fun. You can really work with your creativeness and come up with all kinds of really unique ideas. So this is just a little example of one that I had worked on previously, and we're going to be using pretty much the same color scheme and then also the black markers and the white gel pen. So before we get started, I would like to ask for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. It really helps my channel grow, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you want to see more of my videos, hit the bell, and anytime that I put up a new post or a new video, then you will be notified and you won't miss any of them. So to get started, as I mentioned, I will be using just a little piece of watercolor paper with the two colors on it, and the two colors that I'm using are indigo and burnt sienna. And I have gone ahead and actually already just kind of move some watercolor around on the paper, because you really have to let it dry well before you start with your ink. And so I just used the two, and I put some of the burnt sienna and the indigo down. I let it dry really well, and then I went over with a second coat to make some of the areas a little bit darker, and you'll see how that plays into the way that I like to do my doodles. You'll kind of see how that plays into it. So for the other things, I just have a white jelly roll pen, and then my black micron. This is an 03 nib, and it is a permanent marker. It's a black marker. If you have, I don't have any handy here, but like if you have, yes I do, just a Sharpie marker, this is an ultra fine point, you can use that also. And I do also have different colored brush pens, and one is a real thin point, and I'll just kind of show you that real quick. It's a very thin point marker, and then the other is a brush marker. So if you have these in, you know, various colors and you want to use those, that's great, and that you can have a lot of fun and get real creative with that also. But I'm just going to be using these two pens today, and just kind of giving you an idea of how I like to sit down and with my little swatches of watercolor paper and kind of start creating some of the doodles. And so like for this, you know, I'm going to go around the edge of this darker just to give it a little bit of a lining. And I'm not even going to go all the way around. I'm actually going to stop right there. And I like to do that on a couple different ones, and we'll do one over here as well. Now some people, you know, you like to use, whether it's a lot of geometrical designs, or if you like to kind of work in floral designs, or you know, I like to use a lot of dots and lines. And so on this one, what I'm going to do is, in all of the white spaces, or most of the white spaces anyway, I want to just do lines. And I'm going to start off working with my black marker and get some of this going, and then, you know, switch over to my gel pen and go with that. And I'll probably be switching back and forth a little bit. And I like to, when I'm doing these, I like to have the lines going in different directions, not all the same. And there again, it's just my preference. You know, get as creative as you want, and, you know, any designs or ideas, just put them down. And, you know, a lot of times what I do is, when I'm painting one of these papers, I'll do a couple at a time, just so that I have them laying around. And if I don't feel like actually picking up a paintbrush and painting, but I want to get creative, then I'll grab one of my swatches of paper that I have with my, you know, my colors on it. And it's fun to use, whether it's these two color schemes. These are favorites of mine, but you know, there's so many other options out there to choose from. So on this one, there's a little bit of a light area here. So in the light area, I'm going to just kind of draw in, I don't know what this would be called, a starburst of sorts, I guess, maybe. And not all lines are going to be the same length. And then I like to put a dot at the end of each one. And I may even add a couple more in there just to make it look a little bit fuller. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, you know, this really is so good for your brain, just to exercise the creativeness of your brain and have fun with it. And so another favorite thing of mine is dots. And so I think, let's see, maybe up in this area, I'll do some black dots. And over here, and then I think around this, I'm going to just kind of do a little bit of an outline again. And then, oh, for instance, a fun thing to do, like off of this, just kind of do some lines and dots at the end. I love my lines and my dots. I do like to do some geometrical shapes also. So I'm gonna pick up my Jelly Roll pen just to get some white on here and give you an idea of some of the contrast. So of course you're gonna use the white gel pen on the darker areas. And so over here, I'm gonna go with my polka dots that I absolutely love and use all the time. And you can see how nice they show up on that dark indigo. And I think I'll put a few dots over here. And then if you wanted to use like a white gouache paint, you know, that would be nice also. I just try and stick with markers, you know, once I get to the doodling point of all of this. And I'm going to bring this down a little bit more into this area. And I think that'll be good for now. And then with the darker area, I'm going to go just kind of do a little bit of a thin line around here. Okay, and that doesn't really show up all that much, but that's okay. And I think over, I guess in this area, what I'm gonna do is some, like a line and then a dot and a line. And we kind of do this, you know, I do the lines and the dots sporadic so that they are not lining up with each other. And if you haven't used one of these gel pens before, there is a little bit of a trick to them. Don't push real hard and the gel comes out really well. If you push too hard, they don't work quite as well. All right, and so then over here on this dark area, I'm just going to do some more lines. You can see this isn't, This pen isn't working. It's not cooperating with me real well. And just do some crosses. And maybe just a couple more up here to fill in this area. And then over here, I want to put in, I think over in this area actually, just a few big circles. Okay, so let's see, what else can we do here? We actually have a lot more to do. I'm not getting near the end of this by any means. I think over here I just want to put in a couple larger dots. I think I need to grab my other gel pen is what I need to do. That doesn't seem to be cooperating real well. So we'll see how we do with this one. Yeah, this seems to be working a little bit better. And maybe I want to turn this around, just it makes it a little bit easier for you to see and me to work on. And then here I'm just going to do some, I don't know what these would be called, some little V shapes, I guess. I'll put a dot in the middle of each one. And now what I like to do to make it my own is someplace on here I will put a little heart. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of fill it in right here. That's kind of just my little trademark that I like to do. Okay, so I'm going to put this away for a minute and get my black marker back out and go over into this area, and I'm going to do just a few of the circles here, and these I want to keep fairly close together, and I'm just doing a little splotch of them. I'm not going to do a big huge area. Put a little dot in the middle, and I think one over here kind of even coming a little bit out of the painted area. So let's see what else we can move on and do here. I think over in this area I'm going to do some more lines. I kind of do them not all the same length. And then I will turn this around and do the same thing with the crisscross on these. Okay, and then I do want to put a flower type of image on here. So I'm going to just draw some petals. And then you can see I kind of purposely, for the center of the flower, did it in the darker area. And I guess I almost need to make that a little bit more pronounced. Okay, and then if I bring this around and kind of just draw like a vine coming up through here. And then I'm going to have sprigs come off both sides. And then at the end of each one of these, I'm going to draw like a little leaf. And if you like to do berries, that would be really cute also. And with this little flower, it's not quite giving me the look I want. So I'm going to draw just a little bit of a stem off of it and then a leaf over here. Okay, so that kind of makes it stand out a little bit more. And like I said, you can do, you know, as much or as little, and if you really like florals, or if you like the geometric designs. Now over in this area, I think what I'm going to do, something a little bit different, is I want to just follow this around, and then I'm going to draw little lines, kind of making it like a little pathway almost, I guess. See, my creative mind is coming up with that. I don't really know what it is. More of a checkerboard type of thing, right? And then this area here, let's go ahead and just add some little lines in to the white area. Now, if you wanted to take the white areas and do all polka dots, or even fill them in, for instance, just for the heck of it, let's take this one. I'm just going to color it in with the black marker. And maybe even this little white area, kind of fill that in. And then we've got this one white area here that I do want to go ahead and add some lines to. And these really turn out cute. And if you do like a large piece of paper with this on it, you know, put as much of the designs and decorations on it and the little doodles, and then you could always cut it into strips and it becomes bookmarks, which that's really fun also. And it gets very creative, and you could even write words on here. Let's write, I'm not going to write any words. I have on many in the past, but I think on this one I don't want any words to be on here. So you can see that's not real visible. However, I'm going to follow it around a couple of times. And I think with this little blue area, I'm going to do pretty much the same thing. Just do a few lines and follow it around, and then down through here. And then my little dark blue or indigo area, I want to highlight that a little bit. And just over here, I'm going to put a few dots. And what else can we do here? I think actually right up in here I want to add, and hopefully this will be dark enough, this blue. I just want to add almost like a leaf shape, but I'm not, yeah, kind of like a leaf shape, I guess. And just a couple of them there. And then this area, and as I mentioned in the beginning, you know, I go through and I do with a lot of water on my brush and a little paint, and I kind of paint in the light colors and let them blend really well, and then I let that dry, and then I go over it again with darker colors. And the reason that I do that is because I do want these crisp lines where I can put the edging on it, like this crisp line. This was all a second coat, whereas you can see where this blended nice and smoothly with the indigo and the burnt sienna. That was done in the first coat with a lot of water. So it's really with the layers. You could even add another layer if you wanted to, and just have fun with, you know, getting the look that you want. And with layer upon layer, just let each layer dry very well in between. And then, you know, then you have your little canvas that you can sit and just kind of play around with and see what you come up with. No two are ever going to be the same, but it's just a lot of fun to sit, and you don't have to worry about, you know, anything being perfect. You're just creating your own little masterpiece, basically. So this is pretty much all I'm going to do on this one. I think this has a great look. And then this one that I had done. So these are both in the same color scheme, but you know, it's really, you can do some really cool stuff with like oranges and reds with a tad bit of yellow in there, and also greens and blues with a little bit of purple. I mean, there's just so many options. It's endless, and it's just all about having fun and kind of helping your brain, you know, get the creative area unlocked in your brain and have fun with it. And so that's pretty much it for today as far as this goes. And as I mentioned earlier, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, if you could go ahead and do that, I would greatly appreciate it. If you've enjoyed this video, hit that like. Feel free to leave comments below. I love to read them. I answer everyone. And until next time, ciao for now.